A man is under arrest tonight after police say he tried to get on a small airplane at the Lebanon Municipal Airport. And no, this was not his flight. Officers found 25-year-old Joshua Summer inside the terminal, sitting on a couch inside the pilot's lounge. As police investigated, Summer reportedly became combative and tried to grab an officer's gun. He was quickly taken into custody. Police think he was on some kind of drugs. He is facing multiple charges tonight, and Lebanon police say he could be facing federal ones as well.